V Miller back on Saturday Night Online. I'm here to answer some questions from my Ask Anything chat, so I'm going to start right now. Madison from Berwick says, what's your favorite song at the moment? Ooh, that's a really hard question. I don't really like it when people ask me like my favorite band, my favorite artist, my favorite songs. I don't ever really have like one particular artist, band, or song that I like more than any of the other ones. I would say my favorite like songs right now are really honestly just anything by Keaton Henson, anything by James Bay or Damien Rice. It's kind of just like, what's going on? I also really like Drag Me Down by One Direction, surprisingly. Just completely different from the other artists I named, but I'm into that song. Every time it comes on in my meet and greets, I like jam. It's awesome. Austin from St. Paul says, if you could visit any planet, which one would it be? Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, I'm assuming that this means like it was possible to get to any planet and like if I wouldn't die going there or being there. I honestly think I would want to go to Pluto. I don't know if it's technically a planet at the moment. It's been kind of going back and forth between being a planet and not being a planet lately. But I think that would be cool. And Saturn might also be really cool. Massive. It's not a planet, but I would like to go to the moon. I think that'd be cool. And it's also possible. So, that was probably a longer answer. I'm conflicted. But I think Pluto definitely would be cool because it's the farthest away and we know the least about it. I think it's J-A-N-A. I don't know if that's Jana or Hana, but from Petal, or is it Peta? I don't know. Were you nervous before releasing the album about how people would react? I think every artist is kind of nervous before they release an album because it's kind of like your baby. Like you put a lot of effort and work into it, and you spend a lot of time, and you know, everyone on your team is like, you know, does a lot and puts a lot of work into it, and then you're like, wait to release it to your fans who you're kind of like making the album for, and there's all that anticipation that builds up when you're waiting to release it, and it's hard when like you're in love with all the songs, but then you're afraid that other people might not be as in love with them as you are. It's especially hard because you make your music for your fans, and if your fans don't like it, then it's just like the whole thing is a waste. So I was nervous, but it's gotten pretty good reactions so far. Molly from Louisville says, plan on doing a collaboration anytime soon. I don't have like specific like collaborations set up right now that are like definitely going to happen, but I definitely will be doing collaborations at some point soon. I think the next album will have some on there for sure. I think also Jacob Whitesides and I are also considering doing a song together. I think that's something that we're trying to work out. Yeah, so nothing is set in stone, but there are a few artists that I would like to collaborate with. I don't know how to pronounce M-A-E-V-E. Maeve? I'm the worst with pronunciation, I'm sorry. From Edinburgh says, will you be touring for the new album? I think yes. I would like to answer this with 100% yes. So I'm going to. Yeah, I think I'm going to be doing probably like a club tour, some small shows, which I like better actually. So yeah, I did like a show in Orlando. It was my first headlining show, and I had 400 people there, and it was in a little club. It was like a really tight space, and it was awesome because I could see everyone's faces, and everyone was like dancing together and singing together. It was really fun. So I'm hoping that I can do like a small club tour in the fall at some point. Alina, I think, A-I-L-I-N-A, I think that's Alina from Lincoln Park says, what made you think of the album title Not an Apology? Coming up with the album title was a little bit of a struggle for me because I don't necessarily like it when artists name their albums after one track, because it's a really weird way to summarize every single emotion on the album. Like it just doesn't, I don't know, I feel like there are more creative ways to name it. And so I was fighting for a lot of different titles that I liked that were maybe a little more complicated and too long. I was getting, some resistance on that. I didn't want to name it after a track title. So we thought the track title is called This Is Not an Apology, but if we take Not an Apology out of that, then it's not named after the track. So it's definitely not named after that track because that's like an FU breakup song. So that's definitely not Definitely not what we were going for, but not an apology, I think, is just a good way to describe the fact that I'm a really outspoken person, and I always speak my mind and tell people what my opinions are, no matter what it's on, and I'm really just open with people, and I don't ever feel bad about it, because I think not enough people are outspoken, especially young people, young girls mostly. So I'm just trying to show them, like, you can speak out and say what you want. You don't have to be sorry. Addie from Belton says, what was the most fun song you recorded on your album? Ooh, I don't know. I think that's an interesting question. I think I had the most fun recording This Is Not an Apology because I love the people that I worked on that song with and recorded that song with, and people who wrote that song are so much fun. Matt Squire is like the coolest person ever. He wrote on that song, and I recorded it in his studio. And he's like the coolest, and he has these young daughters who I got to see, and I love kids, so it was really fun having them around. They're really cute, and we like ate lunch that day, like they were there just hanging out, and that was nice, and it just kind of felt like a little normality brought into like recording. But like Matt's a really cool guy, and so we were just hanging out, and I was like kind of dancing like while recording that song, like jumping around, and we were just like cracking jokes and like killing time by procrastinating and looking at music videos of other things and laughing, and it was fun. That was definitely the most fun I had. Allie from Chicago says, what has been your favorite fan memory? Actually, it was recently. I was doing a meet and greet a few days ago, and I think maybe like the 50th around there, girl who walked in asked me right after we took our pictures, she was like, how's your day going? Are you good? Like genuinely like caring. And no one ever really asked me that in a meet and greet, you know, it's kind of just like, let's take our pictures, and like we're just having fun and blah, blah, blah. But like no one ever like stops and like asks me how I'm doing. So I thought it was really sweet, like a really genuine moment, and I really like, it touched me that she actually, like I almost cried, and I looked at her and I was like, thank you so much for asking me that, like I really appreciate it, because not a lot of people like ask me that during a meet and greet. So it was really, I think like things like that, like simple things where it's like normal, like human to human interaction is what I like. I think that's a lot more important than like crazed and like unorganized. I think it's really nice when I can just like talk to people and be normal. Angel from Tualatin, Tualatin. I'm the worst at pronouncing things, so I'll just spell them. What gave you the inspiration to write Paper Doll? I think it's kind of a personal thing, but you know, I have had people in my life who have put me down and who have made me feel really bad about myself, and I went through a really long period of time about 2 years ago where I was really unhappy, and I felt like I had nobody who would tell me the truth and who would be there for me and support me, and I didn't have any musicians whose music like really empowered me, like when I was feeling really negative, and could bring me up from a negative place to a positive place. And so when people were hateful toward me, it really brought me down, and I was also just having a rough time in general. So I thought of you guys, and I know that, you know, a lot of young people are, you know, struggling with the same kind of things, and they get bullied on the internet and in school and just kind of everywhere in general. It's so accessible now to bully people. And so I really just wanted to write a song that could help someone through something like that if they were having a hard time, because I never really had anyone to help me through things when I was upset. So that's all. Maddie from New Paltz says, when writing songs, what snacks help best with your creative process? There's a lot of pizza ordering. There's a lot of actually sushi, but I'm not like a sushi fan. I just get California rolls. I don't know if that really counts, but California rolls, like a lot of wasabi. That's like we end up getting that in the studio a lot. Chinese food, it's kind of just like takeout a lot of times. It's never like we sit down and have like a nice meal. It's just kind of like we snack on just like random foods and takeout orders. Valentina from Santiago says, what is your favorite movie of all time? Oof. That's one of those hard questions where I like can't answer with just one thing. I really like The Goonies. That's a fantastic movie. I also really, really like The Sandlot, the first one, not the second one. I like The Sandlot. I really like Finding Nemo a lot, actually. And there's also this movie called Murder by Death that sounds like it's like some crazy, scary, like awful movie, but it's actually like genius. It's like brilliant. It's kind of an older movie, but that's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I'm sure a lot of you haven't seen it, so just try to find it. My mom showed me that movie when I was younger, and I like used to watch it like literally once a week. Hannah from Aberdeen says, do you have any pre-show rituals? Everyone always asks me this question, and I feel like I need to just make one up or just start doing one so I can answer that with like a yes. But I don't, like I literally sit in my dressing room or on my bus and like eat M&Ms and like hang out with my band and like chill. Sometimes I take a nap. It's kind of just like whatever I'm feeling right in the moment. If I'm like super tired, I will literally wake up like 5 minutes before I need to walk on stage and like go with it. Or sometimes if I'm like super awake, I'll be walking around the venue and like saying hi to people and like hanging out, and but it's something different every time. There's not like one particular thing that I have to do before I go on stage every time. Sophie from United Kingdom says, what's your favorite song off Not an Apology? I always like flip this answer between Paper Doll and Force of Nature, because I think Paper Doll has the strongest message and is the most powerful to me and the most powerful to a lot of my fans. But I think that Force of Nature is really different from all the rest of the songs, and you guys get to hear kind of a different side of me that I don't show that often, so I think that's really cool too. So it's kind of a tie between those two, honestly, and I always answer like a different one because I'm torn, because I think they're both really good. Like Paper Doll is like a really heart-wrenching song, like really powerful, and Force of Nature is just, I don't know, it's like the only like love song that I have, but I like slow it down, and like it's not like a really track-driven, like really powerful song and like loud and musically pop. It's just very sedated almost, and I like that. I think it's cool. Eden from Bentonville says, what has been your favorite city to travel to so far? Honestly, that's kind of the sucky part of touring, is like you travel and you're in all these places, but you can't actually experience them. You experience them from inside of the venue. So my favorite city has been like the only city we actually like had an off day and were able to like do something that was part of that city. We were in Ohio, and I don't know what city, we played in Cleveland. I don't know what city this is in, but we went to Cedar Point, and that's a huge amusement park that I've been wanting to go to like my whole life, because I'm like an amusement park nut. Like I love roller coasters, and I've been wanting to go there forever because it's apparently like the best roller coaster park like in America. So that was awesome for me. That was like the one thing that we've gotten to do so far that was like really like a city was famous for having that one thing. So we got to do that because we had an off day there. So that was really fun. Tyasha from Sydney says, what's been one of your most memorable shows on tour so far, and why? Orlando was definitely the most memorable show for me, because I guess there were like 4 girls that came to the show, and they made like probably 100 of these little hearts with pieces of paper that said, we're so proud of you, on them. And they all had like different colors, but they said the same thing, and they're the same shape and the same size. And I guess they passed them out before the show to a bunch of people who were my fans in the audience. And right when I started Fire and Gold, which is my last song for my set is over, they all like held them up, and they held them up the entire song, and I almost started like crying on stage. I don't know if the crowd could tell that I was like choking back tears while singing the first verse of that song, because it was just, it gave me chills. Like it was the most incredible thing ever. I thought it was like amazing. So that was the best. I'm gonna answer one more question. Let's see. Ashley from Harrisburg says, what is your ultimate goal that you want to reach in your career? I like that question because I don't have like one particular thing that I want to do. Like my goal in my career is just to help as many people as I can and to communicate with as many people who need to hear what I have to say. So as many people as I can connect with, the longer I do this, you know, that's the ultimate goal, is just to help people. So yeah, thanks again to Romeo and to Saturday Night Online, and I'm very excited I got to host my very own chat. Thank you guys for watching. I love you so much.